Since time immemorial, events have taken place with no evident reason for their happening. Such phenomena has been man's dilemma and the subject of constant philosophical discussions. When there is no factor motivating an event, no case of cause creating effect, what triggered the action? Fate or circumstances? What you are about to see concerns such an event. Maybe you can determine whether we are dealing here with circumstances or fate.
What if we're like super nice? Hey!
Hello!
That's my gay hey. Women
Hi.
love
You use that on a lot of people.
it. I do it all the time at work. It's so funny. I'll see any like girl at work and I'll be like, hey!
Hey, welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast.
I'm Ben.
I'm John.
Cobra!
We're reviewing Jaws 4.
Jaws!
Well, is it Jaws 4 or just Jaws the Revenge? Or is it Jaws 4 the Revenge?
Jaws the Revenge.
Is
That's
that?
what I
But it's
thought
the
it was.
fourth installation.
Yes.
I refer to it as Jaws 4.
Yeah,
It's just easier to say.
So I have fond memories as a child of this movie.
Me
Of
too.
this one?
Yeah, because
Did
it
you
was,
say fawn?
well, I can remember when it came out.
You know what the problem was to me? I saw Mario Van Peebles in Solo when I was young. And he's like this cyborg army
That's not
guy.
the guy from Soul Man?
What the fuck is Soul Man?
When C. Thomas Howell goes blackface, never mind.
Oh, I know what you're talking
I
about.
was joking.
You're racist. So to see him with this like
Racist
Jamaican accent from the Bahamas.
Yeah,
He insisted on this.
I'm sure he did.
He did. They did not. They were like, "What are you doing? This wasn't written like this."
Oh man, it sounds good.
And he's like,
It's really bad.
I'm half black, so I can get away with it.
I love watching Jaws. Obviously, it's a classic, and I loved watching it as a kid. I liked the sequels, and yes, I even didn't mind the 3D one. And so I really remember when this came out. I remember when it came out in theaters.
89.
I had
Yeah.
with HBO when I was a kid, and I remember when it came to HBO, and I liked this movie. I thought you got to see a lot more of the shark than you normally did in any of the
That's
other.
not,
I
that's
absolutely
not
love this
necessarily
movie.
a good thing.
I don't-
No, and
it's
actually,
kinda-
when you go back and watch
It's not
it,
good.
it's not good at all.
Not ever seeing this one, and only seeing part of 2 and only part of 3 and the things you showed me at work, I was so confused on what was going on.
I mean, like you had said, John.
What a Christmas movie, though!
Right?
How I can remember being like, now it's ridiculous. That opening credits where it's like, the shark comes up and then it goes down, then it comes up. I was happy.
The soundtrack in this one, I think, is better than the first.
It
I
sounds very
love
similar.
This soundtrack.
Well, yeah.
I think it's done better.
The soundtrack
It's
or
in
the
the wrong
score?
movie. The score. It's in the
Okay.
wrong movie.
I was halfway.
I don't know if it's done better.
I think it is.
You have to convince me.
It's actually got more of a creepy vibe to it. It just goes up and down.
There's nothing creepy about it.
I think there is.
Look at
This-
you!
Not
You're
all
so
the-
excited! You have a chicken in your hand and you're like, food!
It's a live chicken.
Now this... Be careful, this movie might get a 10 out of 10 with food in his mouth. Michael Caine, I got chicken, that's a 10.
That's
Great
how-
review, John, thanks.
That's how Michael Caine would say it.
Well, Michael Caine, didn't he play Nigel Powers in this? He
Oh,
literally...
from Austin
Yeah, he
Powers.
literally just like one line.
He looked just like him too.
losing women with his one-liners, talking about a one-armed piano player playing
So-
the minute waltz in 2
2
minutes.
waltz, yeah.
Immediately in this movie, there are so many annoying characters.
The cat,
They bring back
cast,
the entire
hey,
cast from Jaws.
Not so good.
Oh my god. That
Lorraine Gary is so ugly. She looks like Skeletor.
And I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
She was in Soaps, and she married the head of the studio
Of
and
the
forced
original
him
Jaws, right?
to make this movie. Yeah.
she forced him to make Jaws Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say she married the guy that did Soap?
No,
No.
she was on soap operas, and
Soap
she married
operas.
the head of
Oh,
the
do
studio.
you remember the
She-
show Soap?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who was on that?
I can't remember that gray-haired guy.
Yeah, what was his
I
name?
don't know.
He's on like Empty Nester.
Yeah, I think it was Empty Nest or something.
One of those shows, yeah.
others.
That show was kind of good for being a
I don't even remember what it's about.
spoofy
It's just a fake soap opera.
soap opera, yeah.
Okay.
Next on soap.
Let's get back to Jaws Revenge.
I'm sorry. This is like a soap opera.
So the annoyingness. So the young Brody,
Sean. Yep.
okay, is a sheriff in Amity, and he's got the same secretary his father had.
And there's a gorgeous glamour shot of Roy
Unbelievable.
up on the way. He's like, he's got his knuckles under his chin.
He's doing
He's
the
in
thinker.
uniform.
The way
He's
they
the
treat-
thinker.
Yeah, not the
Where's this
stinker.
thinker?
The way they treat Roy
He's got
Scheider-
hepatitis A. What is it? A2B's and a C.
I took a test today and I kicked its ass. You got 1 A2, yes, I hepatitis. I got 1 A, 2 B's, and a C.
That's a great one.
He was so good. And he took that to old school with him, and that's why it was so good.
And it's
They shit on Roy Scheider in this movie.
yeah, they do. He died of a heart attack.
From
You
the-
know that
from
shark
From the
killed
fear
him,
of a
though.
shark.
Which he held a power line out to.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I
man.
looked this up. There's actually a phobia, a fear of shark.
I'm sure there is. A
It's
phobia
called
for it.
sharkophobia.
There's no way that he had sharkophobia.
Why don't
He had
you,
sharkophobia, and his blood stopped running.
Why don't you look up the fear of cobras, and you can walk around and say that.
You'll find a picture of it. He's got the fear of the cobra.
I refer to you.
Wait, we were supposed to
What's
arm
that
wrestle
from?
once, weren't we?
What's that from?
No.
Wait, is it me and you supposed to arm wrestle?
What's the purple cobras from?
Dodgeball! I was supposed to arm wrestle somebody.
Or me.
It must be the other podcast you're on, because
I'm not on another podcast like you traitor.
we're taking a hiatus. They
Are
just
you?
had a baby.
So, I have 2 babies!
And
I
we're
brought
looking
my 6-week-old baby to our first ever show.
And I literally podcasted 2 days before my daughter gave birth, I think.
Yes, you did.
Wait a minute.
Your daughter gave
Birth.
birth.
Birth?
The birth of my daughter. Shut up! That's what Jaws 4 feel like to me. The birth of my, shut up.
Just stop talking.
You shut up.
The fastest anyone has put down a chicken in history.
I'm a fiend. I've been waiting for that chicken. I knew it was coming.
Okay, this is where I want to tell my
Big
story of the
piece of
naked lunch. Because Roy
The
Scheider.
movie?
Yeah.
Alright.
What I remember of
RoboCop.
Roy
That's,
Scheider
that's what's his face, right?
Robocop's in it.
Cronenberg,
and
yeah,
Peter
yeah.
Weller, yeah. So, my brother, Dave, my oldest brother, used to work at County Market. And they used to have a video section. And it was pretty hot and fresh back in the,
Really?
yeah. Back in the early 90s, he worked there.
I remember Sheets and Hairsaw had a video
So
section.
every Friday night he would grab like a movie
Yeah.
or a couple movies for the family to watch for the weekend, and then
He
take
grabbed
them back.
Naked Lunch for you guys?
Yeah, well, so it was a new release in like 91, 92, 93,
It was
one
early
of those,
90s,
yeah. So he brought it home one night, and we're all sitting down there, and we're ready to watch this thing.
The whole family.
Yeah, family movie night. We're watching Naked
David
Lunch by
Cronenberg.
David Cronenberg, because it was a new release, and my brother brought this thing home. And what I remember before my dad shut it off
Jeez.
was, like Peter Weller is some bug exterminator, and he's sniffing his own like drugs to get high, and he tries to shoot a can off his wife's head, and he shoots her in the head and kills her. But all of a sudden he goes and he's like talking to this detective, and then there's these cockroaches, and they start talking out their asshole.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, how old would it have been in 91, 92? Like 8, 9 years old.
You were in
And
single digits.
we're like watching this as a family, and these cockroaches are talking out their asshole. And we're just like, done. And I think my dad clicked it off before he went to North Africa or South Africa or wherever he actually goes.
This movie spawned a Nintendo game,
Holy shit.
which was so fun to play.
What?
You don't think so?
No.
Well, you couldn't. You had to stay in the shallows.
You just went back and forth for like hours until you get to stab the shark. You collected clams.
The game was awful.
It was bad.
Oh
The
no,
bonus
you got
level,
to
you were a
ride
hoagie
Hoagies,
and you were
got to
the
ride
plane.
Hoagies plane and drop bombs.
It was awful.
No, it wasn't.
We gotta get back to this movie. Sean gets
Ridic-
eaten here.
Ridiculous in that video game is that the big Jaws, you could just go to the very top
Mm-hmm.
and it would go past you.
Yeah.
The baby Jaws is you had to kill. Jaws is always a pussy. It was like Jason in Friday the 13th. He'd leave if
If you hit him with that
started
paper
getting
wads.
if you started getting the upper hand on him.
So this movie, Sean goes out. Okay, Sean has to go get a log that the other cop can't get because he's
What?
out stopping kids from cow tipping.
Not a turd in the toilet log, but
Just a random log out in the middle of where?
it's
And
it's-
why?
Where the
It's
boats come in, I guess?
yeah, the boats and the buoys where the lane is, the
Yeah.
channel.
Is it that?
No.
It's a channel debris.
But you don't need to go out there and get that at night.
Well, we get this nice shot of him buying a Christmas tree or a Christmas shopping with his mom and his fiance.
Yeah, we forgot about that. This is why you picked it, right?
just to make
For the
it.
10 minutes of Christmas before.
Oh, there's
the
also a
Bahamas.
scene where they open presents in the Bahamas.
It doesn't count.
Well,
That's Christmas.
no.
they
There's no
did-
snow. It's not Christmas.
they did that shot just to make you feel worse because he's getting married. It's Christmas, and then
Right. This girl gets no anything. She's on the screen for 5 seconds. She's gone.
5 seconds. She has 2 lines,
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't know. A big one, I think, is one of
It-
them.
It's kind of awful. He's on this boat alone. It's this exact same
The
boat
cat
that his
did it
father.
again.
And the first Noel is playing in the background because these singers are singing it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of I could never listen to that song again the same way.
And not
after
think
that.
of this
And
horrific
not-
scene where this guy's arm gets chewed, like bit off,
But-
and then he's laying on the boat just screaming
This
for
is
help.
the first of many times the edits in this movie are cuts with the shark. It just shows teeth, and then
Yeah.
it shows red water, and then it shows more teeth, and then it cuts back, and Sean has his arm missing, but you can really see
He has
it
such a large
below.
poncho on that
Oh my goodness!
it's easily
It's not
hidden.
great.
But his arm has been bitten off, and then somehow the shark pulls him out of the boat.
Does it bite the
No,
boat
it
in half
bit the
here?
boat, the corner
starts
of the boat.
sinking.
It did
and the
look like it bit the
start-
boat in half.
No, it bit the corner of the boat,
Okay.
and ripped a big hole in it, and then
Oh boy, this is bad.
I don't know how it knocks him into the water.
I don't understand either.
The whole boat ends up sinking as.
We're just gonna get this out of the way. What the shark does in this movie is not natural for what sharks do.
No, it's not.
The shark also has a huge grin on his face the entire time.
He's a
And it
happy
makes me
guy.
think of that clip from Strange Wilderness.
Menacing and terrifying. The shark has been menacing and terrifying for over a decade. Sharks can only be found in 2 places on Earth, the northern and southern hemispheres. This shark is called a hammerhead because his head looks like a hammer. These sharks are attacking Nicole Richie. Yes, the shark is a... What the fuck? Look, man, look at that thing's teeth. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Okay, so Sean gets pulled out of the boat by the shark and then gets eaten.
Yeah.
And the next day they show Ellen the body, and I don't know what the hell they say to her. It doesn't. Your clothes, I thought you'd want them or something.
We missed one funny part of the story.
What's that?
When they're doing all the
An
Christmas
awful
stuff.
Fucking phone call.
No, when
Oh.
they're doing all the Christmas stuff, there's
That is
like
bad.
the kids are
Oh.
singing and they're getting ready to do like the scene, and the one guy's like, Joseph doesn't have the clothes on yet. He's like, Jesus, and Jesus is like, I'm over here.
Oh wow.
It was kind of
I
funny,
didn't
but
even
not
catch
really.
that.
If it had any joke, that was the best one. Joseph didn't have his clothes off yet. He was like, Jesus.
Oh
And
no,
he's
there's
like,
a joke later on from Michael Caine. It's just a
Just one?
side ripper.
God.
There's a punch. Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
So,
So what do you love about this movie so much?
nostalgia.
That has to be
100%
it.
nostalgia. Is nothing else.
There can't be anything more to that because this
Yeah.
movie doesn't make sense
I'll
either
tell you
unless
what.
I'm going to believe that a
Well,
shark
Jaws is your favorite
senses
franchise,
the
right?
Brody family and it's attacking them.
First of all,
I don't understand what you just said. Go
I
ahead,
said
Ben.
I'm supposed to believe that this Jaws is attacking the Brody family.
Ah, okay. No, here's my theory.
Well,
I know
Ellen thinks
exactly
they're
what's
cursed.
happening. Yeah, I know exactly what's happening.
Michael Caine knows
The
it too.
book right
Michael
there
Caine.
is based on a script that was written originally where there was a voodoo
a
curse put on the shark. They took that out except for one line in this movie where Michael goes, "You can't believe that voodoo." What voodoo? There's no voodoo in the movie.
No, they're just referencing like a curse on your family. You can't believe that there's.
No,
a curse.
they are referencing 100%
Well, no,
this
they
stupid
cut the script, but they put that in there just to reference like you just can't believe that your family's cursed.
Yeah.
That's basically what she believes
She's
Travis Ullman.
so.
She's a horrible actress.
She's terrible.
But she wants this to be her send-off for the series. Nobody cared about Ellen Brody at any
When
point.
she's at the funeral of her son, she laugh cries, and there's no tears, so it looks
She just
terrible.
does not seem.
I've been
sad
waiting
at
all night to get to this because you've said it and I've not said anything back. The point is she's processing grief differently. That's the point. Like, I read this crap and it's stupid and I don't know why they put it in there, but she's supposed to laugh at the funeral, then when she's by herself, all of a sudden start crying because it just hit her.
Listen,
Well,
It's a short movie, for Christ's sakes.
I don't know. I lost my brother a few years ago, and there was no laughs at the funeral. Nothing.
But the
Mostly
point, the
tears.
point in the book is that she processes grief differently than other people.
Well, then she's
I
a
understand
lunatic.
that she doesn't portray it very well just because I have.
She's having flashbacks of things that she wasn't there for already.
She's like Ricky from.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
Christmas!
The,
Fucking put him in all the episodes for
Yeah.
no reason.
And it's always a bad sign when you know the script is so bad, but you still have the rights to a really good movie. So you're like, let's put some clips in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to be reminded that Jaws 1 was here, so don't give up on this yet.
From 14 years
Don't
ago.
give up on this movie because we were
So,
Jaws 1.
We're gonna steal scenes directly from Jaws and put them in here with different actors.
So Sean is
Oh.
gone.
Ooh.
Michael comes up,
Michael, played by Lance.
not by
Lance.
Dennis Quaid, who he
Oh
should
no,
be by.
Jimmy Lloyd.
Lance Guest. Or the Last Starfighter.
Not good.
Save the Galaxy. He's killing Jaws. He's an action hero, right?
He's awful.
He's no good.
He does this horrible
I would've
sprint down the
Much
beach.
rather had Dennis Quaid.
He tries to have sex with his mom later.
Wait. When
There's an
they're
Oedipus
dancing?
complex running rampant through this movie because, again, they cut out a large chunk of the script. Hoagie, drug runner.
Yeah, you told me that.
Took it out. So
Yeah, so it looks like Michael is like, stay away from my mom. I'm dancing with her.
Yeah.
And like the whole time, he just wants to
Hmm.
be accepted of his mom for some reason, and it's like
this-
real weird.
Michael.
And he wants to have sex with a welder, which is
he's
weird
a
too.
weird guy.
Michael
Dennis
is
Quaid
weird.
would have been much better.
Yeah, Lance Guest, you're weird, and I don't like you. If you
Michael's
listen to
a
this show.
scientist living in the Bahamas.
If you're one of the
working-
27 people that listen
He's
to
an
this show, Lance
unemployed
Guest, I hate
SeaWorld
you.
worker.
I hate
Let's not
you.
forget that. Who you hate?
You have to listen to. No, who I hate.
Great.
But, I don't know what the hell I was gonna say. Never mind.
It doesn't matter. Michael came up, got Ellen, and got out of there. I didn't mean to say it doesn't matter, Ben. I don't. I
No,
feel
I'm just
bad
like,
for crushing
oh,
your feelings.
Was it my
He's-
fault for
Michael-
talking to her?
No.
Michael is married to a welder who
Make art.
She
She makes
just
art.
burns
she's
metal
making-
because it looks like shit.
she's
It's
making
like
this
nothing.
piece, this art
Doggone
piece.
that we could make?
garbage.
But did you see a shark?
No.
Okay, because Ellen, when she sees
She's
this
supposed
piece,
to see a
she's
shark.
just like immediately like.
Yeah, she's supposed to see a shark.
I didn't see a shark.
There wasn't one.
I saw like a mouth maybe, but nothing of a body.
I saw
Yeah.
more of the whale, the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah.
I saw an expression of how our economy is being corrupted and you should live in the Bahamas instead. I saw an eyeball. That's what I saw.
Oh.
I thought I saw an eyeball.
I thought you saw a Cheeto.
So we're off to the Bahamas.
Bahama Mama.
Yep, and Hoagie flies them a little bit further. Michael Caine shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's just there. There's a lot in this movie where it's like it just happens.
For our millennials out there, he's playing the role of Nigel Powers here.
Yep.
He's one-lining,
Did he get that one right?
making funny.
Millennials? Did he use it right this time?
I think that's fair. They probably know Austin Powers.
I don't know if they would.
At least, yeah, the third one that came out in when?
2000, 2001, 2002?
They would have been like 12 maybe by then.
Ain't I? Am I not a millennial?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you are.
1983.
You know what? Those things, other than the
I mean,
baby
I'm not,
boomers, there
but-
actually is no official generation. It's just shit that magazines make up.
Big
I made
boomers.
stuff up once.
None of it's real. Don't listen to any of it. Fight the power. Anyway.
Talking about people that aren't listening to things, talking about the man that says this little gold bar can just move by itself without anything.
What are you talking about?
No propulsion
Shut up, it
whatsoever.
The EM
You
drive
read-
is real!
It's talking about the guy that believes everything over there. Wizard!
I don't know, maybe.
Magic?
Could be. Maybe David Blaine made it. I don't know.
Maybe David Bowie made it.
It could be, and then he died.
Oh, that's rude. That's too soon.
He really did die.
Great aerial shots. Not.
We're going
We're
back to the
landing
movie.
onto we're the Bahamas, where Ellen just acts like a crazy person for most of the movie.
It looks nice. I would like to go swimming in those crystal clear blue waters.
She immediately yells at Thea to get off the swing.
Thea's annoying though.
I hate
The
Thea.
little girl.
But her
Yeah.
parents are no good either. They're garbage.
They don't pay
parents.
attention to
fucking
her.
Mom's bitchy, but like, I got from this movie, Lance Guest is just a horn dog. Like, he's all about.
Having sex with welders.
Which in this time period, 99.9% of welders were
Men.
Because he found the one woman.
Is this the, dare I say it, Jesse of the Jaws franchise?
With that one little thing? Oh, maybe.
He's been dreaming about welders since he was like 9. Or since he could masturbate. I don't know what he says. He says some disgusting line.
Since I was a little boy. That's it. I've dreamt of nothing more since I was a little boy.
A
That's what he
boner?
said.
Been a welder. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really weird
boning a
because he's
welder.
only known that girl for 7 years.
Did he put it on a side note?
There was
Possibly my
there was
mother.
no asterisks. There was nothing
No,
to say.
but
that.
Hopefully
where he
one
says
is,
a
25
welder
years older
and
and-
possibly my mother, because you said there's an Oedipus thing going on.
You don't see
Huge
that?
edifice. Oh, it's all through
Yeah,
this movie.
he's a little concerned about his mother.
The whole way through.
He
it.
stands up by the window.
And it's not
watching
like
her
it's
later
not
on.
like Roy
is that-
Scheider just
okay.
died. He died of shark fear about 5 years earlier, right?
Shark fear.
I don't
So,
know.
John, you said that
He had a shark
obviously
attack.
there was a book written and a lot of the script was changed for the movie.
Yeah.
Is it they just decided to keep that where it's like he's suspicious of this Hoagie,
They-
which is the worst name ever.
They literally,
Yeah,
Um,
that's just,
they literally forgot to cut a lot of it.
Yeah, but
A
I've seen
lot
movies
of
like
it.
that where it you think it's crazy and then people say, "Oh, well, the script originally said this, but they cut it." And they just didn't do it well. They were just getting it out as
That's
fast as possible.
You want to know how bad this movie was cut? There's a scene that is now cut from the DVD because I distinctly remember this
You
from
own
being a
these
kid.
movies?
I have all the Jaws. But this was on a VHS that I recorded off a TV when Jake actually dies. Spoiler.
Oh,
there's
the
not a
and the
spoiler.
shark-
That's
and
not
the
a
shark
spoiler 'cause
does
he
not
doesn't
blow
die
up.
in this one.
The shark does not blow up in the original one. There's also a scene coming up here where Jake and Michael are sitting on the porch singing a song about the moray eel and talking about how they can't find the shark anymore. They haven't even seen the shark yet.
I knew Lance
Or the
Guest.
moray eel.
I knew Lance Guest is just like when he's running on the beach, he has that look on his face going, "What am I doing?
Oh yeah.
Why am I in
But
this
I mean,
movie?"
Lance Guest, it's
What do
Jaws,
you- yeah,
maybe.
Who are you, Lance
Yeah.
Guest? I watched you in Halloween 2 and you stunk.
He thought he was the next Mark Hamill after the Last Starfighter.
I can never watch that movie.
What, Star Wars?
The
Just
Last
Last
Starfighter. Or Star Wars. No,
Star
I don't want to
Wars,
watch
yeah.
Star
Remember, he's got that
Wars.
video game. He lives at the trailer park.
I still haven't
That's
seen
a
it.
He's
house.
so
That
yes, it
was
is.
enough for me to not want to watch it.
He's so good that aliens come down to recruit him to go fight.
That sounds terrible.
I hate everything you just said.
I remember watching it as a kid though, because I love Star Wars, and I think my parents were like, "Well, it's Starfighter."
I'm glad I just never got into Star Wars, I think.
You
Star
missed
Wars is
out.
good shit, man.
It's
not-
good, but it's not. You know what's better is those bad lip reading songs from that. Those are great.
You know what's better? Lord of the Rings.
I will
No,
agree with you.
I disagree.
You're gay, that's
I'm
why.
all by myself in that, but
What do you got against Lord of the Rings?
it's so long.
Yeah, but it's-
It's all right.
If I win another
It's
contest,
alright.
I'm making you watch.
And
all
this is coming
three
from.
of them.
I watched the cartoons when I was a kid. I knew it was
which
happening.
ones did you watch?
The ones with the songs.
You're a song.
The
Another
the
sick word
non
like
cut
that.
ones.
Oh, John Weaver, Dreamweaver.
Don't say Dreamweaver. Enough with the Dreamweaver.
Oh,
Fucking
Larry.
Gary Wright can suck my dick. Anyway, continue.
Who's
Uh,
Gary Wright?
The guy who wrote Dreamweaver.
I'm
I
just
don't think
thinking
that's it.
Shut up.
you're gonna have a hell of a
Don't
time.
prove me wrong.
It's not Gary Wright.
You're gonna have a hell of a time editing this thing.
It's 45 minutes, and the first 15 are not to do with this show.
All right.
Don't worry about it, but it's not Gary Wright.
So
Maybe it is.
It is.
See how they do
If I left now, would you guys like
You ain't leaving.
all right.
Gary Wright.
Let me see.
Gary
Oh, sorry.
Roberts?
Don't Ben.
Was it Gary?
Get us
Wright?
on track, please, 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 please get us on track.
What? We're in the Bahamas. We get Mike.
I don't think that's right.
Mike and Jake are what? Master students, college.
They have
they're
to go to
research
research
and-
study
They're
snails.
researching
Conch snails, right?
conch snails shells, and
Tagging
from
them.
what I get, fucking Jake is a guy that I would probably punch 30 seconds into meeting him because he's just nothing but a bitch throughout this whole movie. Hey, man, you can't even tag them right.
And then he
What?
says something like, "Your brother died, and you leave me high and
Yeah,
dry."
no.
That's horrible.
No. He says, he's flipping out on him saying, you're slow.
Oh my god, that cat's back!
Oh,
We're
God.
stuck here.
It opened the door, it's like Shockma!
It's Christmas Eve. You left.
We're out here working overtime.
We're
because
out
of you.
here working overtime. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry about your brother, man. And it's like,
What a
so
dick.
fucking, like,
Yeah.
what the hell is wrong
That's why it
with
was
you?
kind of satisfying when he died in the original version.
He's annoying. I can't stand him. But anyways,
He's MVP in my notes though, unfortunately. He's Mario Van
see-
Peebles.
well, we
this
get
one-
that relationship. This movie's all over the place, but
Yes.
basically the underwater scenes are the best parts of this movie.
Anytime the shark's involved, even though it looks like
Yes.
shit,
Is
it's awesome.
fun.
Not one of these stories or movies we reviewed had any kind of plot that was coherent
No, not
at
really.
all.
No,
this,
not at
this
all.
But they all were kind of like okay or fun to watch.
yeah,
Which was kinda
all three
weird.
of these movies are fun enough to watch. But definitely this one, like anytime the shark's involved, that's the best part of this.
Oh yeah.
The story is so bad.
They do
There's so
mention
much
without
filler
the
that
shark.
doesn't matter. And this.
But Jake is underwater when they first see the shark. It comes up, just bumps. That little submersible, I wanted one
Oh
of those.
my goodness.
That would
the
be
shark
fun.
starts chomping on the boards, and I did a review with. I'm gonna plug this
The
show
amount of
again.
blood that came out of that shark's mouth just from chomping on boards.
Yeah, there's a horror podcast
It
I
would be
did a
terrible.
review with. I'll have to figure out what it is later and maybe post it. I don't know. But we reviewed Jaws 4 all together on Twitter, and they put a GIF up when it was over, or a GIF, whatever they're called.
A gift, I
GIF,
think.
I
GIF,
call it a
okay.
GIF. I don't know.
They put it up, and it was like great show, guys, and it had the shark chewing on the board, and I showed you this. Its teeth start falling out.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that. Really?
Oh
It
my
did?
god, yes! So I watched it again. I'm like, oh my god, you can see the teeth just start one by
Oh,
one.
that's a shitty mechanical shark.
Oh my goodness.
It's
It's the one they
horrible.
used for Jaws the Ride in Universal Studios. They used
Oh.
that shark.
Does that shark have that smiley face?
Yeah, it
Oh
does.
my god.
What's your question, Cobra?
Oh, he's
Okay.
raising his hand, Peter.
Yeah. So, at the very beginning, they're celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
How many days later are they in the Bahamas?
I'm assuming
Because
they
One
are.
or two.
Well,
because MVP,
Mhm.
Mr. Peebles, he cuts a line that says, "It's Christmas Eve, man."
well,
So they were celebrating Christmas 3 days
No,
earlier.
they said they were going to
than
get a
No.
Christmas tree, and then
they're
they
getting
went
a
down
Christmas
there.
tree. I assumed
But people
it was,
were caroling.
They're getting ready for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Christmas lights out.
It wasn't caroling; it was practice
Dude.
for caroling.
It's December 2nd right now. Go fucking drive around. People got lights up.
Are people caroling?
They're not caroling; they're practicing their carols.
Yeah.
You're a carol.
Thanks.
I'm just saying.
Another
This,
Sally.
sick burn by Cobra.
I assumed
Sally
this was
Sue.
about 2 weeks before Christmas.
It's not.
This.
It's 3 days.
It is not 3 days. It's not stated it is 3 days.
Yeah.
There's no way it's 3 days.
It's basically December, dude.
Don't let that cat in. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was gonna punch you when it came in.
Oh, great.
He won't.
I will. Not on air.
So,
If you turn this off right now, I will punch it.
uh,
Cut that.
Nope.
Jake wants adventure and he doesn't like snails, so he wants to study the shark because a great white shark is never in this warm of water.
It's very rare.
Is that a true fact?
And
That
we
is a true fact.
We also get the
There's
first hint
water,
that this
cold
shark is
water.
after the Brodies because it goes past
Aren't there a
Jake
lot
to
of
go
them in the
towards
Gulf?
Mike.
What's up?
Aren't there a lot of them in the Gulf?
No.
There's not.
Tiger sharks are in warm water.
Here's a question: why did the shark always have to be a great white? In all four
because
of these
it's-
It's the
movies?
scariest
Because
one.
it's the biggest shark that we have in the oceans
It's
right
pretty
now.
fast for
Tiger
its
sharks
size.
are more aggressive.
Yes.
They're not very big though.
Actually, bull sharks are the
And
worst.
that's the last thing I watched on Shark Week.
Bull sharks are the worst.
Yeah.
They can come in freshwater, up rivers. And
Yeah.
they'll
How
kill
scary
people.
would that be? You're in the Mississippi River swimming,
Oh,
and a
there's
bull
a-
shark 14 feet long bites your leg off.
There's a shitty Netflix movie called
Bull
Lake.
shark in the
I
Mississippi.
think it's called Shark. I think it's called Shark Lake.
No. I don't want
And
any
it's
part
about a
of it.
bull
Oh, I
shark.
remember that did come out.
I don't want
Yeah.
any part. I would rather watch Zombievers than watch Shark Lake.
Remember, somebody told us to watch that. We never
Sandy
did.
Bacon
Yeah.
from work.
Yep.
Zombie verse?
She showed me a preview, and I'm like,
Zombievers.
Whoa.
Oh, zombie verse.
Yeah. These beavers come back to life, and
There's a ton of
Kill.
nudity in that movie,
Ooh.
Yeah.
maybe I'll watch it.
so maybe you might like it.
yeah, he's kind of pervy. Every
I think
so
you've
often.
turned us, is what's
Yeah.
happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Just because I do a tit show
I'm
doesn't
like,
make
I'm gonna
me
go
a
check out
perv.
all 5 of those movies in the next hour.
So, let's get back to this movie.
Jake says we're gonna fuck
Tag
this
it.
plant. We're gonna go tag this shark.
My problem with this tag
Uh,
is that as I'm not even a scientist, and I realize that is the worst place to tag a shark.
Yeah.
Right by the fucking
neck.
gills.
Net gill, yeah.
And you'll notice in this movie that the tag comes and goes at will.
Yeah, it's not
Wasn't
always
it
on
on the
the
dorsal
shark.
fin at one point?
Yeah. It
That's where you
moves.
should tag it.
Yeah.
They're tagging
Get
it.
it right on the gill.
Listen, man, this was the late 80s, early 90s. They didn't know where to tag sharks then.
This guy should have.
I
He
don't
was a
think
marine
they care.
biologist.
Yeah, really, he's a scientist. That's what
I
I'm
just
You know
thought
who
he
else
was
was
a bryologist.
You know who else was a
George
Marine?
Costanza.
That's right.
Costanza, probably my.
Can you plug another George
Probably
Costanza?
Again?
Do
Not
the
the same
speech.
clip.
You're not gonna do it! What do you mean you're not gonna do it? I can't! I'm not an orgy guy! Are you crazy? This is like discovering plutonium by accident!
Which one?
The marine biologist.
You already plugged that one.
even listen to our
No,
shows.
you don't, you asshole. Plug a different clip.
I'm here for them. I don't have to listen.
You're missing some clips.
Yeah, you missed that clip,
Should.
and he plugged that clip a few weeks
Love that
ago.
one. Oh yeah, I remember it because I said
Is that a Titleist?
Yeah.
Hold
the
one, huh?
titles. Yeah.
Wait,
as a scientist, you should know where to fucking tag a shark.
I think he was
and-
just overexcited and was like, here you go. And then the people who wrote the movie were like, I don't know anything about sharks.
Do you know what I said? These people were bitching.
Was there a
about-
writer's strike, Ben?
No. These people were bitching about their grant money and how they're so poor and stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, do you know how much money you spent on meat just to fucking
Oh, and by
Chum
the
the
way,
waters
Chum
are
the
later.
waters.
if you're given a grant on a subject, you can't just willy-nilly go
do what the fuck
study
you
sharks.
want?
If no one's watching you, you absolutely
You can, but you won't. Yeah,
you can, but
things
you
will
have
be
to
bad.
explain
If you
it.
cut, listen, if you cut 2 days early and you get to track this shark, that's fine.
They aren't done with the conchs.
You're a conch.
Well, they agreed to
Another
spend
sick
half
one by
the
Cobra.
day because they get the what the fuck's it called? Where they're tagging the shark.
A tag. I don't know.
All
I don't know
right.
what it is.
Well, they have radio contact with it.
Oh, they have a monitor.
Yeah. Oh, that monitor.
Transmitter.
That is a crap ass old
Piece of
Apple Macintosh
Yeah.
screen. But
shit. Sometimes it works.
Meanwhile, back on
Sometimes
the
it doesn't.
island, Michael Caine is putting the moves
Oh,
on Moraine
right.
Gary.
oh, that bad dance scene.
Oh, there's a lot of bad scenes.
She has premonition of the shark
Well, they
at a parade.
yeah, they are hell bent on this curse that she feels it.
It's
But they
terrible.
don't say anything about it.
Mike
That's
and
frustrating.
Michael Caine does say later, though.
Mike and Jake agree to
Something
spend
about-
They're
Listen.
flying to the boat.
Okay.
at
They
the
spend
end.
half the day on the snails and half the day trying to find the shark.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our next cool underwater scene where Mike is tagging snails and the shark
Oh,
just
this
appears.
is my favorite scene.
That
of this
shark
movie.
could not
This-
fit through that shipwreck.
There's no way it could have moved or turned or went
No.
up. or
Wait,
down
Yeah, I've got a very, very logical question for you here.
To telemorphing shark is what it is.
Are you ready for this?
Sure. This garbage.
No,
scene.
just Michael and his wife get into a fight
Oh,
because
dick.
she's mad at him because he won't take the garbage out, and then he acts like an asshole about because he had to take the garbage out.
Sit
That's
He's
there,
got a
showing
job
the
to do.
day off.
Well, so does she, dickhead. And neither one of you are watching your kids, so you're both
Where
fucking
is your
failing as a
kid?
parent.
I assume we.
Yeah, where's the kid at? Because Lorraine Gary is getting swooned by Michael Caine at this point. She's all flying and having whatever, elegant dinner.
At
How
one
pervy was that scene
Oh.
when they're flying and he's like, take the handle. And like, you can't see the handle, but like, he's like moving her arm.
Yeah,
At one
before.
At one point, Thea's like building a sandcastle, and the water is coming in, and Ellen's just like, "Let's go, Hoagie." What happens to Thea? She get washed out into the ocean or what?
I hope.
She just gets dumped back off
Just
with
shocked.
the welder wife, I guess.
We also missed this very loving scene with Michael and his daughter, where she's mimicking
We didn't
him.
miss that yet.
Oh, it's before that Michael goes swimming.
No, because he already has the bite on his shoulder. And
That's
he's sitting at the table.
No, the bite was from the barracuda.
No, it wasn't.
The
You're
eel.
way
Well,
off.
look,
It
no,
was a
look.
moray eel.
Duck,
wasn't
it's
it?
Miller time, because he's drinking Miller at the table with his daughter. And then the next line is, if Michael swims at 4 miles per hour and he's 20 feet from Jaws, and Jaws can swim at 30 to 40 miles per hour, how is Michael still alive while I'm still writing this note?
My guess is that the equipment is shit, and that he thought it was further off than what it really was.
He's in the shipwreck.
There's no way the shark can get through this shipwreck.
Wait,
No,
but
that's
even
not
at
even
that,
a bigger
when
problem.
he escapes from that, he's swimming. How fast can you swim? It can't be that fast. Shark can
The
dart.
shark is stuck in the shipwreck. He's out of it.
Before that, though,
Yeah,
there
he's
is,
swimming
like-
and the shark can just be like zip.
there is a period of time where, like, he's...
Well, they're big. They don't.
That shark
They
is
can't
huge.
maneuver. They have to swim off and then swing back around, come
But
back.
they can move, like, I think it's like 30 miles
they
an
can
hour or
dart,
something like that.
yeah, real
Not
fast.
Jaws. This machine.
This machine can't do it.
No,
It's about this speed. Like
And that's exactly why we can't have natural shark movement in the water. Because this thing is... What do you think it's made of?
Rubber, I think. A lot of it's rubber.
rubber and
Rubber?
steel,
Yeah.
probably.
It had
Maybe
like
a
a-
motor in it to launch it like a bullet out of the
Oh,
water.
What a horrible thing.
Now, when Michael surfaces, because he uses that tank to push himself up,
Yeah.
if you rise faster than your bullets, your
I
bubbles,
took that
your
that
bubbles.
he wasn't down deep enough to.
Oh, he wasn't?
to
So he's
have-
not
I
gonna
don't
have
know.
To explode
I
his
just,
brain.
I just kind of. Because in part 2, that same thing happened.
That happens and that guy goes to the hospital, yeah.
And what's it called? The Bends. Radiohead. Good album.
Yeah, did,
Great album, yeah.
Did you? Yeah, if you're like underwater deep, and you go flying real high, you can die.
If you surface too fast,
Yeah,
your air
I
like
had
get
air
into your
bubbles.
lungs.
You don't decompress properly. Yeah.
that was on one of those 1,000 Ways to Die. A guy went like scuba diving, and
That
then he
sounds
went out
awful.
flying a plane with his friends, and he fucking crowed.
Died.
There was a case where 3 people were in a room decompressing and somebody accidentally left the door open and they blew up. So
Is that?
that's yeah, but again, it's the same people who brought you the M Drive. So
Did you see those people that died in Australia from what do they call it? Thunderstorm asthma.
no.
It sounds awful. It has to do with like pollen and
I did hear about
thunderstorm
that.
with the air pressure, and it creates the pollen to go absolutely fucking nuts, and it just lodges
Jesus
in people's
Christ.
fucking throat. It's awful. Read about it. It's horrifying.
Okay, so now Michael's wife, who I don't remember her name, she's having an art thing on the beach, and her and Ellen let Thea go into a banana boat.
Well, they don't know that there's a shark.
No, but you
Also,
have a problem
Michael
with this,
goes
right?
underwater, and
He
the
gets
moray
attacked by
eel
a moray
comes,
eel.
and
Jump
MVP
scare.
says something racist. They only like the white meat, man. He says
Oh,
that
that's
about
right.
Jaws.
Yeah.
I said
I
that's
forgot
racist.
about that.
Yeah, he says they only like the
You
white
sound like
meat,
Pittsburgh
man.
dad says that's racist. I
that
says
is?
that's racist.
What the fuck's the matter with you?
That's it.
I just, stop correcting whatever I'm saying.
I do remember that jump scare as a kid that it
That was
fucking
messed up,
freaked
yeah.
me out.
There was
That
one
eel.
similar in Jaws too, when the shark shows up when they're all scuba diving with that peaceful music, and then the shark.
What
just
kind of
comes
music
by.
is it?
It's like John Williams. He's just doing.
Oh, we
like
were
a
hoping you
little-
were gonna hum it.
Hoping I was what?
Gonna hum it.
Do, do, do.
That's not a hum, sir. That is a thank you. He doesn't even know what he's doing over there. You know what a hum is.
All right, so the shark attacks the banana boat, and in the book, at the last second, that girl who does get eaten moves Thea from the back of the boat to the front, so the shark was
How the
going for
fuck?
a Brody. But that's not what happens in this.
This
How
is
the
kinda what
fuck do
happens,
you move
except
somebody from the
she's-
back of the boat to the front of the two people on the thing?
First, they throw her. There were
Her
6
first
people
instinct
on
was
the
to
boat.
go like this and throw her.
And now, a reading by John.
Margaret DeLacy, with a hand on Thea's leg, glanced ashore. Everyone was lining the beach, waving. She could not remember such enthusiasm in prior years, but every year the parade grew more elaborate. They were probably cheering the TV queen from Nassau, who was probably in the outlying islands, which felt themselves to be cut off. Suddenly the banana boat hit the wake of the big Egg Harbor cruiser ahead. She could hear Thea squealing as they hobby-horsed through the waves. Behind Thea, she thought she saw a fin. Behind Thea, she saw a fin. From her low vantage point, it looked like the Rock of Gibraltar, awash in a streaming tide. It was rushing up their wake. Instinctively, she turned her body, yanked Thea from her place, and body slammed her athwartship between her daughter and herself.
What does a
I
forwardship
have no
mean?
idea.
I assume forward.
Her last
but-
thought as she braced to take the impact was that she'd sprained her back. For an instant, she was in shadow as the great white's jaws sprung open. Then she and the last 5 feet of the rubber boat were crushed into a jumble of flesh and neoprene rubber as the swords of glittering ivory met and pressed. So yeah, she grabbed her and threw her up.
That
Her
didn't
body
happen
slammed
in the
her up.
movie.
That's
Didn't happen at all in
No.
this movie.
it's also impossible.
What a waste of time I just made.
Well, the miracle of editing will cut some
An
of
hour
that,
and
but
1
yet
minute. I can't
it
believe this.
Still will be a waste of time. Oh please, you only have like 32 minutes of actual talk
I
of
won't be
Jaws
stuttering
4.
about shark fins and whatnot. I'll get it right. It'll sound like I'm a genius.
But it
We can't correct
quickly, after this, like, I don't know where Michael and Jake are, and Ellen quickly steals
Okay.
the boat.
You know the scene I talked about earlier where they were sitting on the porch? That's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be them talking about how they just got attacked by the moray eel and they can't find the shark. And Mike gets upset that he didn't go to his wife's thing, so he goes home,
He should be. She's
which is exactly
gonna
where
yell
this
at him.
movie actually picks up. He walks in the door and Thea is crying in shock.
So,
Dude,
you
crying.
said they
She's
were
like comatose.
this whole scene where they were singing on the porch about this moray eel and not finding the shark. You said they hadn't even seen the shark yet.
When this scene was in the movie when I watched it when I was younger.
Oh.
It's where it's supposed to go. Ellen, by the way, has just taken off, grabbed a boat, and started just
Grabbed a
sailing.
boat, grabbed their boat.
Neptune's Folly.
Oh, well, let's...
What I named my 6th grade
What?
boat after.
So,
Where did this boat go, John?
It sank right to the bottom of the gutter that we were racing him in. Yeah.
I feel like you belong in the movie It. You're like Georgie. SS Georgie coming through. SS Georgie.
We had to do it. You didn't have to do that in 6th grade? Were you
Yeah.
in pod 1 or pod 2?
Pod 2.
You didn't do the boat race?
No.
Mr. Child Molesting, take girls to the back room, helped us build a boat in 6th grade.
Maxwell?
No, the other one.
Hyatt?
Hyatt.
And in 6th grade we built a fucking...
We built an amusement park, but we also did a boat.
The other
No.
one.
6th grade was boat, 7th grade was car, 8th grade was box.
No, my box was not in 8th grade.
6th grade was duck, goose.
Didn't do that.
8th grade was
7th
a
grade
race
was
car
box.
Ours was the other way around.
8th grade was whatever project we wanted.
7th
to
grade
do.
was box for me.
They changed it completely when I was there.
6th grade, what the fuck did we make in 6th grade?
We had,
Goose?
some of us got sent to Hyatt. The rest of us had to.
No.
They designed the boat and they were like, "This is what we want." And I'm like, "You don't want to put me in charge of this. One of you go." And like, "No, you go." So I went, and Mr. Hyatt was putting underwater motors on
I didn't have
everybody's.
shop in 6th grade.
This wasn't shop. This was like a project because
Oh,
the pod
no.
was. You know, remember that pod was in 6th grade?
Yeah.
Everything worked together. They had competitions every now and
Yeah.
then.
What?
Yeah.
I
We
had
didn't have
pure
anything like
shop
that.
for Mr. Hyatt.
Well,
That's
Mr.
all
Hyatt
he
has
taught.
building pink styrofoam boats that we were gonna race, and it was widely known, but we didn't know why. You want the underwater engine to push this boat, and Mr. Hyatt suggested I take the one that's above water, and I'm like, that's not what
He's trying to sabotage you.
that's not what the people on my thing want me to do, and they're like, he's like, well, that's what we have, so you're gonna have to use it. So I
Did he try to take you into the back room, John?
No. But I put it on there, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they were like, "You name it. It's your piece of shit." So I was like, "All right."
Did you name it the Orca?
I named it the Neptune Orca after the 2 boats from Jaws 4 and Jaws 1, which both boats sank. And sure enough, the reason you want the underwater one is because the overwater one is too
Pushes
heavy
you down.
and pushes the boat down. right to
Underwater
the bottom.
pushes you up. My memory of Mr. Hyatt is I walked into class and he had written on the board, "Today, kids, we're going to talk about speed, feed, and lubrication." And everybody just went, like, because he had such a reputation.
For having Vaseline everywhere?
And I also remember the art room was attached right beside through a door to the shop. And Mr. Davis, the pencil sharpener, like jammed. And he knocked on the door, and Mr. Hyatt came over, and Mr. Davis said, "Can I borrow some 3-in-1 oil for the pencil sharpener?" And Hyatt said, "Oh, I got a whole cabinet full of lubricants." And everyone's like,
That's horrible. But he was horrible.
yeah. Yeah,
He's
he
never
was.
mean to me. He gave me that A on that
Just
box.
because of that glistening coat. That's why.
That's right, that's shiny.
I'm so pissed at him because my box, I got like a B- on it. B
And he gave the same girl a,
Jamie Burton
what
solo.
was it, a B plus or an A minus?
No, A-.
Because of her
First-
boobs. Yeah,
First girl
same
hits.
box.
She
Were
purposely
you here during Ernest Scared Stupid?
He wasn't here and thought, no.
purposely knocked the
He doesn't
pencil
know
off.
any of our past episodes.
He's telling the same story again.
Yeah.
Any.
Purposely knocked the pencil off, bent over to pick it up in front of him, gave her an
This-
A-. She was using my box.
This is more coherent than
Bullshit.
when he told the story before.
That's true. You were way drunker at Ernest
Yeah.
Scared
We
Stupid.
all were.
Jake and Mike are like, let's go find Mom in the boat, and then
Why is Hoagie
Michael Caine
They
is
take
in a
this
fucking
little-
rowboat out there?
He's
fucking
fishing.
knows.
Is that what he's doing?
He has a fishing boat. Yeah, he's
Alright.
fishing. He's
And
like,
so they're all on the
I'll get you
plane,
guys there.
and Mike is like,
Caine.
what do you do when you don't fly people? And he says, I deliver laundry, and that's the only thing they left from
About.
the drug plot from the
Yeah.
book. There's actually another character in the book named Papa Jacques, who falls out of the plane and right into the shark's mouth. And I was like, man, I wish I would have saw that. That would have been fucking cool.
Would it have looked cool though?
No, it wouldn't have.
So
Probably right.
instead,
They crash the plane near Ellen, whose plan, by the way, is to go out into the ocean, find
And
the shark,
ram a
and
boat.
question mark.
oh no, I thought she was just gonna ram it.
She stops the boat and stands there, remember?
well,
like-
yeah,
she's waiting
she
for it,
backed
yeah.
off at the end, going, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
In the book, she has a gun. She's gonna shoot it and commit suicide with.
I don't want to read that book. It's just terrible.
It's actually way better than this movie. Way
Wow.
better. And
Okay.
you know what? It's better than Jaws, the book. That's for fucking sure.
Okay. So this shark is tagged, but apparently Jake has put something in this sensor where he can shock the shark.
No.
to
We're
jump
not
out of the
there
water.
yet.
Nope.
Michael Caine lands the plane. And the
Lands,
boys-
crashes.
They're about
crashes
to
the
jump
plane,
out,
and they
and-
swim over, and Michael Caine can't get away, and Jars is coming right
Yeah.
for him.
And Mario Van Peebles says he's attracted to the electromagnetic metal on the plane.
The EM
The MP.
drive.
The EM drive. Moving faster than without propulsion.
Yep, it's amazing.
Coming soon. A little gold block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
until
Michael
the
says.
oil companies get the patent.
Yeah, they're gonna patent it
then-
and not release it.
Also, Michael
Thanks,
says,
Donald
Mario
Trump.
Van Peebles,
It's his
you're a
fault.
nut.
This plan
And I
is
have,
stupid.
if you're a nut, what nut would Mario Van Peebles be?
Cocoa nut.
I know where you're going, and I'm not gonna say it.
What? Wait a minute. No, don't. I'm not doing that. I'm not cutting it again.
Cocoa nut, that's funny, kinda.
Let's just stick with mine. Let's just stick with the non-racist
What's
cocoa
yours?
nut.
What?
That's the correct term for it, yes. But we live in Western PA.
Just say it out.
Nothing.
I got the bleeps.
Finger toe?
All right.
That's not where I was going.
I don't call it that. I call them Brazil nuts. They're good.
Yeah, I've had this discussion cut from the show before.
He's a peanut.
Good one. Another sick burn by Cobra.
That one you can leave in.
All right.
All right, so they decide to rig up this flashing thing. After Hoagie, by the way, comes on board of the ship with no water on him whatsoever.
Michael Caine was not getting wet that day.
He refused. Yeah, he did. He refused to do it. You know what he said about this movie? I've never seen it, but it bought me a lovely house.
It's check. It's a bank. It's a check cash.
Yeah.
And that's why I said
He
throughout this
skipped.
movie.
He won an Oscar that year
For what?
for a different movie.
No.
I can't remember what it is.
It said for this. I was like, what?
But
No.
no, not for that. For some other movie, and he skipped it to film this. It's like the one stain on his career everybody always
He
talks
skipped
about.
the Oscars.
He skipped receiving his first Oscar to film Jaws: The Revenge.
Man.
Did they really film in the Bahamas?
Yeah, they did.
It looked like
Yeah.
it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure the people in the Bahamas were like, "What the fuck is that thing? A shark? Is that what a shark looks like? Really?"
It's got a
They're like,
smile
no,
on
It's
it.
awful happy.
Ay.
So they rig up this thing. They're gonna stick a flashlight into the shark's mouth. So when they flash it from the other end, theoretically it should make its brain go crazy, but instead
What?
It roars like a
it
lion.
roars like a lion
I
and
thought
jumps
it
out
was
of
a
the water.
bear.
But before that happens, Mario Van Peebles gets on the end of this like long bow, and he's got the thing on a stick, and he sticks it in the shark's mouth. Which, by the way, the shark is balancing on its tail, standing like a person.
It's 12 feet out of water.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And Mario Van Peebles falls into the shark's mouth and gets bit.
And there's blood everywhere.
There's blood everywhere.
And he is
And in the original,
visually in pain.
in the original
He
cut,
is-
he's dead.
He is
Oh,
in
yeah.
no way surviving this.
But they added a cut where they show him being eaten and he's still alive. So you're supposed to believe that he might live.
No.
No, just no.
First of all, a shark wouldn't do that to you. It would grab you and it would drag you under and start eating you on its way down, on its descent. It doesn't care what you are. It would just grab you and then go under.
It eats everything and digests the things that it doesn't need. Like
It doesn't
spits
care.
up,
And they do this awesome move where they come up from above you and just
come back down.
crush it, yeah.
They don't stand on their tails.
No, and they don't just start there munching on
Like a
boats
dolphin.
like nom, nom, nom,
Like a
nom,
dolphin.
nom.
Yeah, like a dolphin. This shark is like a dolphin in this movie.
This shark is retarded.
Whatever, dude. When I was
movie is
young, that
retarded.
It's
fucking
like swimming with one fin in circles.
that fucking shark scared me when I was a kid, though.
It didn't look like anything that could ever
Those dude's
exist on
teeth are
Earth.
falling out.
Well, it just looked.
It's
It was
terrifying.
that grin.
Some
on
of
that
that was scary. It was scary. I had nightmares about sharks from all the Jaws that I watched. And they didn't look like actual sharks. So I thought I was having nightmares about sharks, but I was having nightmares about robots. Anyway, Mike decides to get on the end of the ripped off bow and start shocking this shark, who starts growling. And then Ellen starts seeing flashbacks of things she wasn't there for in sepia tone.
It's dirty, brownish, terrible
really
colored flashback footage.
She was there apparently when Chief
Smile, you
Willie-
son of a
Yeah.
bitch. What'd she say?
She doesn't say anything. She
Oh,
just,
she should have said, "Smile, you son of a
She
bitch."
said something
I've been
earlier
smiling
that
the
come
whole-
and
you
get
son
me,
of a
son of a
bitch,
bitch.
yeah.
That was 15 minutes earlier.
so
or
Ellen
something.
decides she's gonna ram the end of the boat into the shark. Now, originally,
With Mike very close to the end.
yeah.
Did
by
you
the way,
see
that
Michael
happened, yeah.
Caine went to steer the boat and she
And
like
she
smacked
smacked
his
him.
hand and punched him?
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm done with you.
Yeah,
really.
bitch. And you
But-
skeleton.
Go back to selling drugs.
Well, in the original version of this, the shark gets rammed with the harpoon or the end of the boat
Bow.
bow, and
Is
it's
that what it is?
growling, and it's still growling.
Snarling.
and snarling. But the boat then like breaks in half, and you see a model shark sink to the bottom of a bathtub.
Oh.
As bad as that is,
We get this.
the bow hits the shark in this one, and it explodes. And if you watch this shit in slow
Oh,
motion,
it's horrible.
it's clearly a half of a piece of a boat. It hits a Play-Doh shark.
It looks like a
And a
pencil.
firecracker
It looks
goes
like a
off.
pencil going through a Play-Doh shark.
And then they're like, let's show it 3 times.
Boom! Yeah.
And then they just show this scene from Jaws when the shark's sinking to the bottom. They're just like, show that. And originally that's it. But in this one, no, the boat has blown up. And everybody's floating and Jake's alive, cracking jokes.
Bloodied and still alive.
Oh my god.
Tis a flesh wound, man.
Oh my
I
god.
told you Uncle Jake's equipment don't crap out. Who fucking you're fucking
Why'd he
dead.
call himself Uncle Jay?
I don't
Because that's what he
know.
was saying about his. I don't even know
Yeah,
when he
who
was
knows?
when he was creating this tag.
Who
he
fucking
was-
knows?
Sounds bogus, man.
And then Michael Caine tells Ellen a story as they fly off together at the end.
Ugh.
And in the old version, there's nothing, but in this version, there's a dubbed thing of Lorraine Gary going, "Take care of Jake," because Jake lived this time.
And because she was so close to him, but
Why are there 2 versions of Jaws the Revenge?
That's terrible.
Stupid.
you're
Okay.
the trivia guy in this. Do you know why?
Well, because the test audiences were.
Uh,
That's all it was. They were like they wanted Jake to live, so they
Can
didn't
you-
want to take another shark
can you
attack.
buy? Can you get a disc where they give you a full version of the one cut and then this cut?
I've never seen the full version anywhere other than when it was on Fox when I was a kid, and I recorded it off of Fox on a
So
VHS.
somewhere on an
I
old
have it.
VHS you have it here.
It's out in the garage, yeah. I have it,
That's
but
hilarious.
Maybe I should put it up sometime or something on YouTube.
I
Go
wouldn't.
for it. I wonder how many people, because that does happen where it's like one channel got this one release or this one version, and people don't believe people when you say this is what I watched.
You can find the Moray Eel song online, but it's out of context, and there's a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff that's cut from this movie. But Ben, you get to go first this time.
Oh God. Well, obviously this is the worst version of the Jaws series, by far. But I'll still give it a 4 out of 10 just because of nostalgia. I do remember, this may have been like one of the movies that I remembered like, oh, like they're still making sequels to something. But yeah, I watched this so many times on HBO or USA or those types of movies. I played the video game. It was also the first movie that I realized that they're making a video game of, I think. Script is terrible. Actors are terrible.
Completely agree.
Michael Caine's phoning it in. It's the worst shark, and that's saying something because of, I know you fucking 3D one you hate.
Ah,
right?
it's terrible.
But how
Where's that
how do you have a worse shark 20 years later, but they somehow did it?
That's why they didn't show it in the first one.
But they really showed so much of the shark in this one that I think that's what I remember most out of.
Best parts of the movie.
Yeah. And I always wanted a submersible after I saw something. I had a pond behind my house that I was like, I'll just take the submersible down there. 4 out of 10.
Go over.
I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 10. It was.
It's watchable.
It's not unbearable. No, it's the shark is. It does things that sharks don't naturally do. Is there a curse on the Brody family? I don't really give a fuck. I didn't see 2 and 3. So and
That's
Ellen
not
Brody
good.
is
You-
awful.
You've never seen part 2 and 3?
Not the whole way
It's
through.
not that big a deal.
Ellen Brody's awful.
2 gets
She's
a little
terrible.
slow.
Michael Caine's kind of funny, cracking one-liners. The Michael kind of with his mom thing. You said that there's a drug runner thing, so
They left it out.
it makes a lot more sense that way than
Yeah.
him just being very aggressive towards Michael Caine in this movie, because Michael Caine seems like a good guy,
Yeah.
treating his mom right and stuff. So other than that, the shark,
He'll show her a hoagie.
yeah, he will. He'll give her 12 inches of Italian punch, except he's British.
That went off track.
No, the shark kills. They're fine. Yeah, it was late 80s, early 90s. Late 80s?
Yeah,
Inside
late
it.
80s. Late 80s.
Yeah,
Fine.
88.
They were fine. Except the ending. This shark looks awful. It looks terrible when it's
final
standing
scene.
up and it gets stabbed
Holy
with
shit.
that thing. But yeah, it's not unwatchable. If you've seen all the Jawses through 3, you might as well watch 4, I guess. I'm not a huge fan, so.
I'm almost scared of what you're gonna give it, John.
I'm going to 5. That's all.
5, okay.
Oh, I think you're gonna
Anything
give it like
higher.
a 7.5.
I was thinking 7.
I
was
can
like,
watch this
dear
movie
God,
all the
man.
time, though. I watched it when I was a kid. Jaws 2 and Jaws 4 were the ones I saw most frequently. Jaws 3 was, when I was a kid, like a treat. Then I sat down and
Yeah,
actually
Jaws 3 is
watched
probably
it.
the one they've showed least.
Did you ever watch it with 3D glasses on?
I did, and it
It
hurts
hurts.
your fucking head.
Most of them do.
There's a cool scene in Jaws 3 where a guy gets eaten and you go inside the shark's mouth to see it. And when
Oh,
I was
yeah.
a kid, it terrified the fuck out of me. But this one I like better than Jaws 3. It's a little long, I think, especially when they don't explain anything. And Michael Caine, like you said, is phoning it in for most of the movie. I don't even know why he's there. Nothing happens to him. He doesn't do anything.
Jaws 3 has Lou Gossett.
Why don't we blow it up?
Listen, nephew. It's a $2.5 million turbine that's not going to go up in smoke because of some damn fish. Now shut the pumps down.
I love Lou Gossett Jr.
Goddamn right.
He's good in Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine, one of my favorites way back in the day.
But you know what I would have liked in this movie more?
86?
I would have liked Dennis Quaid,
Oh,
not
yeah.
Lance Guest.
One of
The
the two.
cast.
Who else was in Enemy Mine? Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Together, yeah.
That's right. And I would have liked Leah Thompson.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
I don't care where.
This cast was
Whoever.
horrible.
This is
Yeah.
bad. And this is Lorraine Gary's stupid vanity project. She actually brought back people from the original Jaws. What the fuck for? I don't know.
No, we got
In
that
fact,
with the flashbacks.
Kittner, the boy who dies in the
Oh
first
God,
one,
yeah.
his mom is here at the beginning of this movie, hanging out with that snobby ass lady when they're hanging out at Ellen's house and Mike shows up. They're
Oh.
both there. What the fuck are you bringing them back for?
The only one
I'm sure they weren't doing anything.
the only one that I'm
Because
like,
they're like, listen, here's Jaws 1.
the only one
Remember
that's
Jaws 1.
real noticeably from is the secretary that's still the secretary of Amity Police.
Oh, I didn't like how they shat on Roy Scheider. He didn't want to do the movie, so they say he died of a heart attack, but then they say it was the fear of the shark. Roy Scheider was a fucking badass in those first 2 movies. Like, he was fucking awesome. And now they're gonna say fear killed him. Fuck you, movie. And also, there's a scene... Shut up. Yeah, you did say that, yeah. And then... There's a scene in this where they're like, remember Jaws 1? Remember when Sean and the dad were doing the face thing at the table? Watch this. We're going to do it again. And then they're like, hey, remind everybody that happened before. And Lorraine Gary comes out and goes,
the flashback.
well, Lorraine Gary comes out and straight up says, I remember when you and your father used to do
Yeah.
Fuck that.
After we showed you the flashback
The shark
during
scenes.
the funeral.
The shark scenes are pretty great. Listening to Mario Van Peebles butcher a fucking accent is pretty great, but the rest of it is just trash. So I give it a 5. And that's it. Merry Christmas.
Thrill me.
Merry Christmas.
That was premature.
Yep. Facebook.com/horrorcasting. We're on Twitter @horrorcasting. Horrorcastings @gmail.com. Now.
Thrill me.